You've probably heard the recording. It starts like it should. A familiar deep voice sings a sad, slow song. The music is a gentle waltz. The lyrics speak of heartbreak and loneliness. It's a classic ballad, the kind of song meant to make you feel a little melancholy. The singer is a master of his craft. He delivers the first verse with perfect control. His voice is rich and sincere, everything is exactly as it should be. Then the song reaches its famous spoken word section. The music quiets down. The voice begins to narrate a scene. It's a dramatic monologue. It compares life to a play. The singer speaks of an empty stage, of a love that has ended. He asks a question directly to the listener. The tone is serious, almost Shakespearean. And then it happens, a small crack in the voice. Not a mistake. Not a missed note. It's a sound of amusement, a tiny giggle trying to escape. The singer pushes through another line. He's trying to hold it together. But you can hear the strain, the seriousness is gone. It's replaced by a battle against laughter. He fails. The next sound is a full, deep laugh. It's not a small chuckle, it's an uncontrollable, helpless laugh, the kind of laugh that takes over your whole body. The professional facade shatters completely. The serious, heartbroken narrator is gone. In his place is just a man, on a stage, laughing his head off. The band keeps playing, vamping in the background, waiting for him to recover. But he can't. He tries to get another line out, and it just comes out as another wave of laughter. So what happened? Why did one of the most famous singers in the world, a man known for his intense charisma and stage presence, lose his composure so completely during such a serious song? The moment is so real, so human, that it's become almost as famous as the original perfect recording. The answer isn't a simple one. It's a story about a specific night in Las Vegas, a backup singer, and a man in the audience. To understand the laughter, you first have to understand the song. It wasn't his song originally. It was old, very old. It was written back in the 1920s. It was a piece of its time. A sentimental waltz from an era of Tin Pan Alley tunes. It was first made famous by performers like Al Jolson. It was a standard. The kind of song your grandparents might have danced to. It's formal, a little bit stiff, and deeply earnest. The lyrics are about looking at four walls, staring at a stage, and feeling utterly alone. The centerpiece, that spoken monologue, was always part of it. It was designed to be pure melodrama. When the singer decided to record it in 1960, it was an unusual choice. He was the king of rock and roll. He was known for shaking his hips, for snarling his lip, for driving audiences into a frenzy. This song was the opposite of all that. It was quiet, it was subdued, it was for a different generation. But his manager, Colonel Tom Parker, pushed for it. It was supposedly a favorite of the Colonel's wife. The singer trusted the Colonel's instincts. He recorded it late one night in a Nashville studio. The lights were turned down low to create a mood. He sang it beautifully. His version became the definitive one. It was a massive hit. It showed a different side of him. It proved he could handle a delicate ballad just as well as a rock and roll anthem. The studio version is a masterpiece of control and sincerity. It is flawless. But the laughing version is not from a studio, it's from a stage. And that makes all the difference. The year was 1969. The singer was in the middle of a massive comeback. After years of making movies in Hollywood, many of them forgettable, he had returned to live performing. He was in Las Vegas at the International Hotel. He was the biggest star in the biggest hotel in the biggest entertainment city in the world. The pressure was immense. He was doing multiple shows a night. He was backed by a huge orchestra and two vocal groups, the Imperials and the Sweet Inspirations. His stage was a command center. He was in total control. But he was also a human being. And he had a wicked sense of humor. He was a notorious prankster. He loved to mess with his band and his backup singers. He would change lyrics, make funny faces, and do anything to get a reaction from them. The people on stage with him weren't just employees, they were his friends, his musical family. There was a looseness to his live shows that didn't exist in the studio. Anything could happen. This wasn't the polished icon from the records. This was a man at work, having fun, and feeling the energy of a live audience. The date was August 26, 1969. It was the midnight show. The crowd was buzzing. He was deep into his setlist, and he launched into the old, sentimental ballad. He sang the first part perfectly. The audience was captivated, then came the spoken part. He set the scene, talking about the empty stage, and then he made a tiny change to the lyric. Instead of the original line, "and I saw you standing there," he sang something slightly different. Some accounts say he flubbed the line, others say he changed it on purpose, a small inside joke for the band. He said something like, "I saw you peeking from the stage." It was a small thing, barely noticeable, but it might have been the first crack in the dam, the slight absurdity of the word peaking in such a dramatic monologue might have planted a seed of amusement in his own mind. But that wasn't the main reason. The real trigger was someone else. He looked over at his backup singers, the Sweet Inspirations, and one of them was a woman named Cissy Houston. Yes, Whitney Houston's mother. Cissy was a consummate professional, but she was also human. As the story goes, she saw something in the audience that was just too funny to ignore. A man in the front row, a bald man, had taken off his toupee to wipe sweat from his head. In the middle of this incredibly serious song, this man was polishing his scalp right in front of the stage. Cissy saw it. She tried to stifle her laugh. She put her hand over her mouth. Her shoulders started to shake. She was fighting a losing battle, and the singer saw her. He saw his backup singer trying desperately not to laugh, and that's a universally contagious phenomenon. Seeing someone else lose their composure often makes you lose yours. He caught her eye. He saw the suppressed laughter, and that was it. The connection was made. The absurdity of the entire situation hit him all at once. Here he was, the king, delivering this heartbreaking monologue about loneliness, and his singer was about to explode with laughter because of a man's toupee. He tried to continue. He got another line out, but the image was burned into his mind. The laughter that had been a small seed a moment before was now a full-blown force of nature. He let out that first snicker. He tried to compose himself to regain the serious mood. He looked down, trying to break eye contact, but it was too late. The laughter just poured out of him. He bent over, completely overcome. The band, true professionals, just kept playing the simple chord progression underneath, waiting for him to come back. You can hear them on the recording just vamping, giving him space. The audience, at first confused, soon realized what was happening and began to laugh along with him. The moment of high drama had turned into a moment of shared communal joy. He eventually managed to gasp out a few more words of the song, but the laughter kept interrupting him. Finally, he gave up on the monologue and just let the band bring the song to a close. This recording was never meant to be released. It was a mistake, a moment where the show went off the rails. In the highly curated world of pop music, mistakes are usually erased. Artists want to present a perfect image, a flawless performance, but bootleg copies of the recording started to circulate among fans. People loved it. They loved it not in spite of the mistake, but because of it. It revealed something true about the man. The official studio recording was perfect. It was the icon. It was the legend. But the laughing version was the person. It was the guy who loved to joke around, the guy who could be set off by something as simple as a friend trying not to laugh. It showed a vulnerability and a humanity that was often hidden behind the gold-laced suits and the superstar persona. People connected with it on a deeper level. Eventually, the record label, RCA, realized they had something special. They officially released the lawing version in the 1980s. It became a hit all over again. The DJs would play it on the radio. People would request the version where he couldn't stop laughing. It became a beloved piece of his legacy. Think about the contrast. The original song is about profound loneliness. It asks a deeply sad question. The singer is supposed to be in a state of despair. But in this version, the performance is filled with the exact opposite of loneliness. It's a moment of connection, a shared joke between a singer, his backup vocalist, and eventually the entire audience. The performance breaks the fourth wall. The singer is no longer just a character in a song, he's a real person on a stage having a real, unscripted moment. The story of the laughter is a perfect example of what makes live performance so magical. It's not about perfection, it's about moments that can never be replicated. You can listen to a studio album 1,000 times, and it will be the same every time. But a live show is a living, breathing thing. Things can go wrong. A singer can forget the words. A guitarist can break a string. Or, in this case, a man can take off his toupee and cause the king of rock and roll to fall apart laughing. These aren't failures. They are the moments that make the experience unique. They are the stories that people tell for years afterward. I was there the night he couldn't stop laughing. It becomes part of the legend. So, why did he laugh? He laughed because he was a human being. He laughed because something was funny. He laughed because the pressure of being a perfect icon sometimes cracks, and what comes out is pure, honest joy. He was supposed to be singing about a lonely stage, but in that moment he wasn't alone at all. He was surrounded by his friends and his fans, sharing a moment of spontaneous, uncontrollable fun. The perfect studio version shows his talent. It's a testament to his skill as a vocalist. But the laughing version shows his soul. It's a reminder that behind the myth, behind the legend, there was a man with a great sense of humor who wasn't afraid to let it show, even in the middle of one of his most serious songs. It's the mistake that makes him more perfect. The song was, "Are You Lonesome Tonight?"